Hey, welcome back. I'm in some weird spots right now because uh, I need to get some of these things graded right off the rip. I have unfortunately missed the window in terms of anything that was really in my area for CGC drop off. I'd really like to avoid the mail. And so by weird spot, I don't have the top tier membership, but I'm the one below it. But I might as well go to the top tier membership because I'll literally save my money almost on my first order. Now, so I'll go ahead and continue talking while doing what I'm doing. So this is a 2001. There is various years for this one, but this is the metal Lugia coin. I'm not going to bother pulling this one out. The next one I already have out. Really, the only thing that I saw that was weird was kind of like it's missing texture right there. Uh, but the actual face of the coin actually looks really fantastic. Um, and this is going to CGC since I confirmed that you can send coins to CGC. Now, some of the issues, I'm going to write coin for Pokemon type. This is the 2001 Lugia coin. There is various years, as I said. This isn't a factor for Hollow. I mean, it's not going to PSA, it's going to CGC. But again, since we haven't received our CGC stuff back yet, we have to do it based on a PSA grading scale. Honestly, actually, so coins are really difficult. I had a similar kind of coin issue with the Alakazam coin I sent. That got a 9. Um, so I mean, we'll guess 9 on PSA scale, but honestly, really 9 to 10 because this isn't really a ding. It's like it's just kind of missing that itty bit of texture. I know it seems kind of like, well, that definitely went at 10, but coins get into a bit more of a weird grading scale. And so here's the same coin again, but this time, we have it out. There's really, we're just observing this one a bit closer. As you can see, this one's the exact same numeration. There will be ones that have no date, and I remember correctly, if it has no date, that you, for CGC, you just put the Lugia coin like 2000 to 2004. This one, it's like it doesn't have stuff missing. It's like it's just maybe a little dirty. Maybe I'll give it a little bit of a wash. I don't know if that will count against me. Um, the front's fine. This one definitely just isn't as shiny, but this one still has it has less going on with it, in my opinion, than this one. So this one I would definitely say a 10. And so this is the same thing. It's the same thing. This and this one I would guess 10. Now, here's where things become a little bit difficult. Now, I do believe that there was, actually, I was kind of playing with the CGC website a little bit. I do think there was like a selection for the Lugia coins. What I couldn't find, which was crazy to me, because this is the original coin. Well, yeah, I can't remember which one came first. Can't remember if this design came first or if this design came first. But either way, these are the original Chauncey coins, and there wasn't an option for it on CGC, which was crazy because this is the coin. Now, one of the things though I noticed that was different between this one and that one, besides the back, at least in terms of the front, so let me grab the other one, was, and maybe you'll see it, I won't say it right off the bat. Let's see if you see it. You can kind of see it, the light's a little strong. Let me, once I start moving it, you'll really see it. So move this one, and then move this one. Instantly, you should have seen it right there. This one has basically the base set star hollow pattern. This one has really no hollow pattern. And so besides the backs, that's the difference. Now I've got 2 of those and 1 of the other. Honestly, I'd rather have more of the other. It just looks better in my opinion. But I know some people really like having a coin that is, you know, basically that whole. I believe this is the older one since it doesn't have the hollow at all. That's just a guess, though. The history of the coins, it's a little difficult. Really, the only thing I had with these coins in terms of issues was, I think my 1.5 is like my cleanest zoom in without getting weird. Is yeah, there's some scratches, and those could probably be polished out, but to be honest, the scratches are so micro. You have to understand, we're really zoomed in. Those scratches are so micro, with them being like just on the gloss set, that those usually wouldn't really be counted against you in the grade. Now, what could be counted against you in the grade might be some of this like lipping, but it's again very minuscule, so I doubt it. There's no dings really in the coin, so I honestly could see these coins getting a 10. I don't know what to use as a differentiator, and this isn't a ding. I thought it was at first. I thought it was like strong whitening, but then I realized all it is just the coloration of the energy symbols. I don't know if they ever made one, but you know what actually would be really cool is if they still kept the original front, but they colored in the back to the energy colors. That would actually be really cool, and if they could also slip in the newer energies that came out since. So I don't know how to differentiate in terms of the labeling, because these are different coins, but they have the exact same verbiage on the back. Oh, also same if they added the new energies and they colored them all in, that'd be a really cool back. And then on top of that, again, I couldn't find anything on CGC for these Chauncey coins. They had Chauncey selections, but they were different coins. They were not these coins, which is just so strange considering that these are the original coins. Honest to God, all three I would say 10, which I'm really happy with because I bought these on a whim with really not giving them any hard look. And so coin, coin, coin. These are the 1999 Chauncey coins. And I think what I'll do is for other notes is I'll do this one at the bottom as the different back until I can figure out what the labeling is. I think I'm literally going to have to call CGC. I kind of messed with their chat bot a little bit. I wasn't going too deep into it. And so, and by the way, I'm not using penny sleeves. I need something a little bit thicker to, one, hold them in place, and two, the extra thickness of the plastic. The coin edging can be kind of easy to rough up because these aren't hard plastic coins. So I use a slightly thicker sleeve for these, and I still put them in top loaders. I've tried doing coins and the whole card savers, and they don't really seem to stay in place versus if you put them in a my buddy knows the name of these sleeves, the sleeves that aren't penny sleeves, but they kind of are. There's colors. Oh, and then I put in the order that this will be the other one. So, but when I look at them, I store them like this. I won't, so that way I know they're all Chauncey coins, but I know this is the one that has the different back. So, yeah, that's going to be a fun one. I just gotta call CGC. And what we're doing right now, because like I said, I was originally, I'm trying to figure out, I have a big order I want to take to CGC, but a lot of the issue is just all of the logistics involved and the cost. And feasibly, it's the cheapest for me to fly them in, literally. So I have a place to stay too, and I'm honestly not going to stay long as much as I would like to. I just don't have the vacation days for it, and I don't want to wait for a holiday weekend. I just need to go and get it done. I'm just on a time crunch with everything. Now the cool news is, I'm just going to go ahead. Just V means we've videoed these. So this is a prior video. We're not going to go over all that. What we will do though is we will use some of the data set that we already had, and we're just going to pull and add to this order. So we're going to take this thing, which we already did a whole separate video on, and we guessed a 9. So I'll stick to my original guess on that. You know what? I'll make it 9 to 10 for that. I'll write that it's pull, but I'll make it 9 to 10 on this sheet. And then we had a 9 to 10 for Series 1 Meow Persian. Well, I wish that was definitely a cooler a cooler set, but it is what it is, right? So we guessed 9 to 10 on this Meowth Persian from Series 1. There it is. And then a 9 to 10 on the Series 1 Character Cards TV13. This is our TV13. So really, honestly, nothing crazy. And that's also kind of why I'm willing to mail these things in. Oh, we had another 9 to 10, and that was a Jolteon Eevee. So that'd be pretty good. So let's find Jolteon Eevee. Oh, and what did I put for the Mankey on this one? Mankey, I said 8 to 9. So we'll send the Mankey, and then I said Jolteon Eevee. And, maybe we'll circle back to some of these. So what I'm essentially doing is, so this is the Jolteon Eevee, and honestly, I mean, again, I don't know the grading scale for these things. They're definitely different. They're definitely unique. So the reason why I'm doing these, I haven't sent these in ever. I have seen these sell. They don't sell really quickly. They do have some value, and I've actually had really good luck. These are something that I get graded, they have their value, and then I come across a vendor who has something else that I want that's more liquid, and then I use these, which aren't so liquid, but as a vendor, they tend to. I don't do vending as a show. I might soon, actually, once I get all this pushed out, but I am more of just, some dude called me the Pokemon mogul of the area, because I've got so many cards, I can control a local market. So we pushed this. We pushed this. And I'll just transfer this info over later, so we don't have to really sit through that. But I just kind of want to show you how sometimes I can expedite. Info once you've already generated it. We got the Jolteon. We got this Prism. I wish I had more of those. Freaking awesome. We pushed Gold Mankey. Pushed CGC, and then we had a Series 1 Meowth Persian. Pushed CDC. Now all those really are just straight guesses in the dark, because I've never had any of these things graded. The chopping character card thing, TV card, we can presume is going to be based on standard cards, but there's really actually no guarantee. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just so I can move on, and I'll place those in later. Now, something that we left off with a prior video, which I don't know if I posted yet. It's gonna be difficult because I had to remember to put these in order correctly later. Is I had opened up 4 Mewtwo Mayhem themed decks and 4 Pikachu power themed decks. Honestly, I don't think it really was worth it in terms of opening them. Should have kept them sealed. I kind of had offers on them in the past, but I didn't quite jump on them. So the goal is to get a 10, and you would hope with them being, packed fresh, that would work out. The issue, and now we'll go to 1.5 zoom, 1.6, is the corners really aren't great. The hollow, perfect, really. And then we'll go to the back. And these top corners, see, once I tilt it like that, you can see the bend in the lip, bend in the lip, bend in the lip. So I just don't know how that's going to be viewed, but we'll say 9 to 10. And honestly, that's a shot in the dark. That was X, Y. It was hollow, but it was cracked ice, so I will write that. Again, 9 to 10 might be really pushing it, but it is what it is. 35, 108. You know what? Just for writing purposes, I was going to kind of, I was going to do Mewtwo to Pikachu to Mewtwo to Pikachu to Mewtwo to Pikachu. That's how I had them stacked out. Plus the coloring just looks great. But I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and do Pikachu, 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 and Mewtwo, 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 just to save me some writing on this paper. Especially since we're going to pull the cards out to review them. And for these, with that 9 to 10, it's a shot in the dark, it's a guess, and honestly, it is also being optimistic. I think some of that optimism comes with the fact that there's no whitening. Centering seems to be fine, and the fact that they are sealed pulls. But like, this is just one of the things that, if you talk to anyone, they'll say XY was a terrible quality control print run. And we're seeing that on the corners. These corners are just, they're like, they weren't ran through the machine correctly. But again, whitening's pretty much 0, centering's pretty much superb, and there's 0 scratches. So I'm only going to go with what I know, and what I know is 9 to 10 on that. So same thing, that looked good. We're saying 9 to 10. If you get a 9 on these, it's like you break even. If you get a 10, you actually do make some money. Now, I don't think these will black label for CGC by any means. This one, the whole corner thing is visible on the front. Again, I mean, we see it pretty quick. The rest of the card, smooth, wonderful, actually nice to the touch, to be honest. Coloration is fantastic. I just don't know. I don't even know how PSA would react to the corners, to be honest. And I definitely don't know how CGC will react to the corners. But we're gonna live and learn here. We're gonna find out how do they view these corners. I don't find the corners that big of a deal, and that they might be, oh, well, you're the one who has the cards. Why would you? You're trying to. I mean, it's not like CGC is watching these videos. Plus, typically, most of my submissions like these come out after I get the cards back, or after they're already however far in the grading process. See, now this one's worse. This one, we start to sit at the 8 to 9 category. This one I wouldn't even put in the 10 category, because like those are actually some serious dings on the corners. And it's just a shame, because you've seen it. I opened them sealed. So this one, So you see 8, basically this becomes a giveaway card, unless all of a sudden there's some major run-up on it. And again, I'm guessing it as a PSA. I would say 8. There's nothing wrong with the card. Now the Mewtwo definitely is a 10. Makes up some money, but if I remember correctly, these Mewtwo's were in worse shape than those Pikachus were. Again, the front's clean. I think the cracked ice looks actually really excellent on the Mewtwo. It looks okay on the Pikachu. Definitely really kind of fits the theme of Mewtwo. Again, already on the front we have some issues, so I'm willing to bet on the back. Back, and it's across the top, which that makes it worse, as that's more like dings. But they're dings without whitening, so it's really weird. You're not seeing whitening. What you're seeing is reflective glare, and you've got these uplifts. You wouldn't call them dings, so there's no whitening. Again, that's not whitening. It's reflective glare. It makes it very difficult. Now this one, since it has the top dings, I'd probably again just guess an 8. And some of you are probably saying, oh no, it's got dings, it's less than an 8. And I don't think you realize that some of those 8s that you're finally noticing the dings in is because there was other things going on with it. Typically, that's what I have seen. So that's why I keep putting these at fairly high up compared to even how I normally would. 51 out of 108. It's just because they're packed pulls, and honestly, it's only just the corners. There's the centering is really good. The surface is really good. There's no whitening. It's just these corners, and unfortunately, it's all 4 corners. If it was constantly only ever just one corner, I would keep guessing. Again, it's not whitening. It's just, again, there's like a ding in the bottom. So this must have just been the card over the one that had the ding at the top. Again, not whitening, glare. It's and then it looks like there's a print line, kind of, yeah, like a print line. Not whitening, just glare. And so now you might, if you see this card and you see what it goes for as a 10, and you see the population, you can kind of go, oh yeah, I just watched a whole bunch of those sealed, and they weren't doing so hot. I don't even know if I want to say 9 to 10 on this one. I think I just want to say 9 on this one. And some of you are probably going, well, if you don't think you're going to get 10s, why send them in? Because sometimes you get lucky. You get a 10, but also this answers the questions that I have now for future scenarios I might run into. Maybe I come across some super high-end card, and I look it over, and the only thing it has going on with it is, oh, well, it has a uplift from the print, but there's no whitening. And there's an uplift from the print, and there's no whitening. There's an uplift, no whitening, and there's an uplift, no whitening. And some of you might be saying, oh, you're crazy, there's no whitening. This one actually looks like it has some whitening. So I'd still guess 8, because again, it's just so minuscule. Again, factor in we're very heavily zoomed, and we're looking for those things very thoroughly right now. So let's say I came across something like a Gold Star card or a Ponchu Pikachu, and it had these things going on with it, and it's exactly these things. And from this, I've seen what these cards get in terms of having those factors. Well, now I know what to expect when I come across other cards. So now I have a more thorough representation in my mind, and the reality of it, of what the card could get. And let's say someone else who doesn't know that but sees it and they want to sell it because they think the card is obliterated. Like, this just isn't a card worth sending to a repair guy though. But yeah, the Mewtwo's were in worse shape than the Pikachu's. But then I know kind of what the expectation is, and maybe it does. These come back as 8s, maybe even 9s. Probably not 10s, but CGC has 2 levels of 10s, so maybe. But let's say they come back 8s and 9s, and I now know that's what it will be based on that. And the person has their thing priced in as if it was getting a 3. And I can now do my analysis and cost and figure it out. I just got this in from the mail, and from my quick look, I had done a quick look, it just looked fantastic. So we got a Japanese Lieutenant Surge's Magneton. Again, I just fantastic card. Oh, fantastic. Front, clean. Back, clean. Centering is just of the slightest off left to right. And pretty much perfect top to bottom. And honestly, I think it could black label for CGC. Honestly, it probably could Beckett black label, but I'm so fed up with them. I'm just not going to do a separate order, especially not for a Lieutenant Surge's Magneton. Magneton number 82. And this is special because this one has the star. And the reason why that's important because it means it came out of a booster pack and not a theme deck, so that actually adds value to it because you can get this out of a theme deck without the star. That's a guaranteed pull. So getting it with the star, BL for black label, because yeah, I do believe it. I think that could black label for sure. So that's pretty up there, and you know what we can fit in? This isn't nearly as cool as that in my opinion. Well, it's cool in its own right, and I like to mention it. And honestly, I think they should redo the card since all the new EVs are out. If you don't understand, there's a few reasons why this EV is cool as hell. One, it's hollow. This was like not a thing because EV was just a common card, and they made this promo card, and they made the promo card hollow. And then what they did on top of that, and the reason why you didn't notice it as a kid so much, like you noticed like, oh, it was 3 colors, but you didn't really put 3 and 3 together, is not everyone off the top of their head knew Eevee had 3 evolutions and only 3 at the time, and they were all unequivocally, Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon, and that each one of these colors represented that evolution possibility. I think they should remake the card, exact same art, and just add all of the colors in for all of the current new evolutions of Eevee. I think that would be a fantastic card. It's thick, but it's equally thick. So the centering is equal. There's a print line. I'm subjecting it if I was sending it to PSA, even though I'm sending it to CGC. I know PSA would count very hard against that print line. There's a tiny bit of whitening. Now, there's none of that crazy uplift we just saw with those XY cards. Slight grime, nothing crazy, and whitening very minimal. This would be somewhere between 8 to 9. It wouldn't be a 10, I know that much, but I know it would be 8 to 9, and that still makes it worth it. And so this was we're going to do Black Star promo, Eevee 11 hollow. That includes the 20 cards, well, the 20 items. Cards, I guess, isn't technically correct. What, like I said, I'll probably do is I may, if I can get, is this a crappy penny? Like, is that dirt on the inside? I had a lot of penny sleeves that I had gotten. Dirt's on the outside. I wiped it off. I had a lot of. Look, there's no reason to keep crappy penny sleeves. They're called penny sleeves, rightfully so. And so don't let the greed of saving yourself one penny destroy what could be a huge value of the card. I don't have a title for this. I'll have to write it down and figure it out. That's how I kind of keep track of things. I try to title them. That sheet will be used for other submissions. Why am I mailing this in and not my bigger things? And if I'm mailing it in, why bother if I'm going to go ahead and fly in anyways? Oh, you know what? There we go. Title that Fly Send. I'll throw a better title, but that's just to be somewhat of a idea creator. So if you haven't done things, especially lately, it's getting really, really, really pricey to mail stuff in. Just the insurance alone has gone up. So that's one factor. And I do my insurance as you're paying for, typically you're paying both ways. And so I do my insurance based on my guest grades, based on the values of the cards. So you start stacking these cards up and you start getting $200 to $1,000 cards. 20 cards later, you're at, $4,000 to $20,000. Maybe even more if you have some real big bangers, which I got one coming up. That makes the insurance costs just skyrocket. And then there's a chance that they get lost in the mail or stolen. So they're stolen, lost, damaged. You've paid all that insurance. Typically, you don't get it back. It's a huge legal ordeal. This one isn't too crazy. It's only really the bottom two items that really would kind of be, especially this possible black label Lieutenant Surge's Magneton. That would be a huge deal. The rest of these, not the end of the world. It'd be nice. Those coins, those Chauncey coins, as PSA 10s, I think there's confirmed sales of like $450, $500. So again, this package really quick already gets into like $2,000 just with these oddball items. If they get the grades that I'm guessing. So I don't mind mailing these in just to keep things constantly flowing into the system. I'm still waiting on that 21 card submission I did to CGC, but I want to keep things flowing just in case also I don't fly in anytime soon. The issue with the fly-in portion, one, some costs, some logistics, timing it, moving quickly, making sure I have to do some legwork. I gotta call CEC. I have to make sure I can do the things that I want to do in terms of this submission. But then also, I don't like grading anything if I don't have it videoed. This videos are more for me than it is for you guys. And the few who watch it, I think there's a ton of valuable information, especially with how I do the data sets. So for some who are looking for that very minute but very valuable data set information, these videos are huge. For those who are looking for a quick, is it worth it to keep it sealed or rip it open? This isn't for you. This is more so for me, because I have evidence of any sort of issues with my submission. Like, hey, this is what I sent you. This is the condition it was in. You sent me back something completely else, something damaged, something that wasn't the same at all. But that's why I'm doing this whole separate still 20 mail off item. Of course, I have to make sure I can get a proper input in the system for those Chauncey coins. I'm going to fill in this data later in terms of those series ones and flip its and Peely sticks. And that's also why I keep my data like this. I just went ahead and transferred it over. I wrote the note that I've pulled it, and so now I know that it's no longer active on this sheet, and that sheet's been videoed, so I can always just go ahead and do whatever, and I have the evidential matter, just like this one now has the V. So this will be posted right after I've completed the video, and I have the evidential video. I still have cards already to send you see, but they haven't been videoed, and the card specifically more so because most of my card items carry so much value. I have to still also evidential matter video there's more than just this. There's still cards over there. I basically have to video evidence like 400 cards. And since I don't edit, the length of these videos is the length it takes to make them. So these 35, 40 minute, 50 minute videos that it takes for the 20 cards is how long it takes for 20 cards. Really to do it properly. With the whole video and the documentation, you should be doing the documentation. Some of my commentary, yeah, we could save a minuscule amount of time, but really you want your documentation. I've had to go back and look at things when I got things, save me time from going through a whole video. And then I have my grade guesses. Again, I keep this documentation. These documents don't go to CGC PSA tag whenever I mail these in. These stay with me, and they go over onto my file cabinet, and they sit until the order comes back, to which I can review said things and or also pull back to the video to which these relate to. So these 20 items will probably be mailed in separately just to keep the blood flowing until I can get 400 other items documented and then fly in. And that will be a whole thing, and I will maybe not video record the experience, but I will record by doing the data analysis and how that went and the experience and review of that flying cards commercially. Hopefully no issues. I've heard of nightmares, but those are mostly just international customs. This will be a domestic flight that's a whopping 1 to 2 hours, and I'll probably just keep literally the things boxed in a special box and my personal bag. It will not leave my site ever during that whole trip, because I'll basically be moving with like $100,000 of Pokemon cards, not by any exaggeration. Basically every 100 cards I sent, this was the PSA stuff, basically every 100 cards I sent, after they've been graded, they were essentially $20,000 to $25,000 worth of cards. And so that's basically what we're expecting also with this analysis. Pretty much every 100 cards will be roughly 25 grand. Honestly, a bit more, because I've been holding off on my nicer cards just for the heck of it for these videos. So 400 cards is going to be about $100,000. Not in grading fees, if you don't know, but just in terms of the value that they'll be worth once graded. But really also that means that even as raw, that's what they're worth. They just haven't been given that appraisal yet. But for those who hop in and are like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, he's way off on his grades, watch my prior videos. I am almost always right on my grade. I'm almost always within one variance of my grade if I didn't get it right on the dot. And then on top of that, I'm checking and resending ones that apparently were way off, but it was only like 3 or 4 of them. And that also, those 3 to 4 raised red flags in terms of why were they so far off. I think they need to be resubmitted, to which we're going to find some evidential matter of proof as we do this. But thanks for watching. As always, I hope this stuff is really useful for the couple of people who watch it till the end. But in my opinion, it's free money for those who watch it. And good luck.